What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the first trade recap that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing this every single day, as long as you take a trade. If we don't take a trade, there's no recap. I didn't take a trade for the day. Basically, we're just going to go through the trade that we took today. Today's Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. Go through the trade, go through what I was thinking, my confluences, all that. Basically, just everything that led me to taking the trade that I took today. So let's go ahead and get into it. So coming into market open here on the 4-hour time frame on NQ, we were bearish. We had this gap right here, this 4-hour gap right here that we wanted to see get filled. I had this equilibrium marked out right here. I wanted to see equilibrium get hit and then possibly a reversal back to the downside, right? Because we had not broke structure back to the upside off of this value. On the 2-hour, though, we did break structure. We broke structure right here. Off of this candle wick right here, we broke structure to the upside, never broke structure back down. And then also on the 1-hour, we broke structure right here off this candle, off of this high right here. And also, what else we did? We swept this liquidity right here at 2 a.m. and then we also inversed this 1-hour gap right here. So now I'm thinking in my head, like, maybe we're going to be bullish on the day. Maybe we're looking for longs. The only thing is I want to see this 4-hour gap get inversed before I can take anything. Because if we take a trade within this 4-hour gap, we could reverse at any time possible, right? There is absolutely nothing that tells us, we're not going to just reverse at any time if we enter a trade. So we want to see this gap get inversed before we can take a trade. And then also, you're thinking we're pretty close to all-time highs. Probably don't want to short all-time highs. You never know when market's actually going to, do what it's supposed to. So we had a couple different confluences telling us that we're going to be bullish. So at this point, I'm more bullish, but at the same time, I have that bearish bias in the back of my head. Not too married to my daily bias. It can flip a lot. It all just depends on what the market gives me. Because you're not trying to predict the market. You react off of what the market gives you. Right? So that's what basically we did today. So jumping down into the 5-minute off of market open here. So we have ES pulled up on our right side as well. We took, we didn't take, we gave today. We have this SMT created off of this intermediate low on the 5-minute at 9:30, and then this low right here at 9:40. As you can see, we have this low right here, and even could have done it off of this low right here. But we swept out this low right here and then also took out this liquidity value as well. So what does that indicate? Probably a reversal to the upside with ES being the lagging index and NQ being the stronger index. So that gives us our first bit of confluence we need to know that we are going to be going back to the upside. So we had, the break of structure to the upside on everything but the 4-hour. On the 1-hour, we had that big inverse off the liquidity sweep. Now we have another liquidity sweep and a SMT at our lows, indicating we're going back to the upside. Then what do we have now? We have this 5-minute get inversed right here at 9:45. Gives us even more confluence that we're going to be going back to the upside. What do we do at 9:50? We retest this inverse fair value gap. So that right there, looking very good for longs. We're thinking, okay, definitely bullish. Don't want to take shorts here. We're not going to short when we're close to all-time highs, and we have way more confluence telling us that we're going to be going back to the upside. So jump down to the 1 minute here after that. Now all we're waiting for is low time frame confluence, as well as waiting for that 4-hour candle to close at 10, hoping that we inverse that gap. So here we're going to look at NQ first. Used a lot of confluence from ES and NQ at the same time today, just because they are correlated assets. If you can use confluence from both of them, then most likely you are going to, you're going to be making the right trade because you're using confluence from both of them and not just one of them. Because sometimes one of them can have better confluence than the other, so you really just want to look at both of them. Anyways, so what happened here at 9:47 on the 2-minute and the 3-minute, I believe. Yep. So we have a 3-minute fair value gap here. We'll mark that out right here. 3-minute fair value gap, and we get a retest of that value right here. You can see we retest, and we have a strong bullish close off of that. So at this point, I'm like, dang, I really would have taken that trade because we already have enough confluence, right? I would have taken that trade. We just retested. Now we're shooting back to the upside. Would have taken that trade off of this candle right here. However, right, we don't have the confluence that we need in the higher time frames, that being the inverse of that 4-hour gap. Same thing here on ES. I think it was a 3-minute. Yeah, so we had this, first of all, was this in the 2-minute? Nah, just the 1 minute. So what did we have? We had first this retest down to here, right? Boom. We're in this fair value gap right here in the 1 minute. This is probably a 2-minute fair value gap too. But we also have, so we have both of these imbalances. Price wanted this one more than this one, so this one does not get disrespected. Now this is not an inverse. Technically this is an inverse because we inverse it right here, but we have this gap just below it. So at the same time, we're thinking this is probably price accumulating for it to go higher. We also have this 1 minute gap right here that gets inversed at 958. Now we're coming down to the wire, right? We have 958 inverse retest at 959 of this gap as well. And then where are we at 958. 958, right? We're above this 4-hour gap, but we need one more candle before that gap closes. You don't want to enter it early because it could push up here. Then guess what? Drops down here within 30 seconds, and then boom, reverse to the downside. You get stopped out. So you need to stay patient. You need to wait for what market gives you before you act on something, okay? So then what happens, right? At 957 is this candle right here. We create this fair value gap, tiny fair value gap, right? But it's a fair value gap. We push up here at 958, 959, we come back down and we retest this. So now 959, we're above this level. As soon as this candle closes, that's an inverse of this 4-hour gap. So at 959, when that candle closed, this 4-hour gap got inversed. Now we're looking to take a trade, and we actually got it like right as soon as this gap closed because we got a retest of this value. We inversed that gap. Boom, that's enough that we need. We have so much more confluence continuing that we're going to the upside. So we entered off this candle close, got in right here. And now since we are in the government shutdown, we just took the low-hanging fruit. Placed our stops below here, 32-point stop loss, and then just targeted this intermediate high. I think this is in the 5-minute. This intermediate 5-minute, this intermediate 5-minute high right here. Just this high, just to get, a 1-to-1 ratio. A little more than a 1-to-1 ratio. I just don't want to be negative, but we're taking the low-hanging fruit here. Don't want to over-risk. Don't want to do something that is possibly going to hurt us. Don't want to target higher values because we're in a government shutdown. We really have no idea where price is going to go. It could literally do anything that it wants to, right? So we're not going to get greedy here. We're just going to take what we can get and then and then take it from there. So we de-risked today, and then we also only took a 1-to-1. Usually I'm taking hopefully a 2-to-1, sometimes 3-to-1, depending on where I can get my entry at. But we de-risked, and then we also only took a 1-to-1. So I think in total we profited, let me check, $224.70. So we only risked $200 today. So like I said, guys, don't need to do too much. Your small wins will eventually add up. And so after this retest, what do we get? We get 2 large candles, and bro, this pissed me off low key. We edged our TP here. Look at that. Like that's not even a quarter of a tick. Like it's less than that. That's how much we got edged by. But we created this 2-minute gap. So I wasn't nervous or anything. All we did, came back and retested this, and then we eventually shot up. We could have targeted a higher value. Let's see where this was targeting. Go ahead and mark this out. We actually want this one. See what this was targeting. So this was targeting this intermediate high right here. I don't actually think it got to it. Did it get to it? No, it didn't. It didn't even get to it. So if you guys targeted that, then you're cooked because we're reversing right now, and you're probably going to go break even. Hopefully you closed your position already. But see, like I said, guys, don't want to take too much here because we have no clue what price wants to do, right? So this also could just be a retest of this inverse before we shoot back up. But that was the trade we took today. So the confluences that we used, right? We knew that we were bullish off of all of the break-in structures back to the upside on every time frame except the 4-hour. We had that 1-hour inverse off the liquidity sweep. We had this 5-minute SMT right at market open. We had interconfluence within here. We had a ton of fair value gaps get filled, a ton of bearish fair value gaps get disrespected, and then we finally closed above this inverse right here on the 4-hour, and then also respected a little 1-minute gap that we entered off of. So those are all the confluences that we used today to take this trade. Government shutdown once again, so not risking too much, just taking what we can get and continuing to the next day. You know, if this was obviously longer, not longer. If this was not government shutdown, I'd be risking my normal amount. You know, I probably would have had multiple take profits, last one being probably all the way up here at all-time highs, right? So, like I said, guys, just take what you can get at these times when market is uncertain, and prevent losses by, you know, not taking trades unless you have a perfect setup, and then prevent further loss by de-risking. Prevent further loss by only taking what you want. You know, just stick to those one-to-one trades, and then eventually they will come. So that is going to be it for this trade recap. I will catch you guys tomorrow, perchance. We'll see what market holds. We have Powell speaking at 8:30, and then unemployment claims, which are tentative, so we have no clue when that's going to happen. But if I take a trade tomorrow, then you guys will see the trade recap. If I don't take a trade tomorrow, then you guys will not see the trade recap. So if there's no trade recap tomorrow, then just know that I didn't take a trade. So that being said, I'm going to go eat because I'm hungry as hell, and then I will catch you guys later. So peace out.